This is the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abish, founder of Abish Financial Services.
A lot of firms out there say they will do tax planning, say they will do Social Security planning and RMD planning, and typically they just do investment management. They want your money.
You've worked hard your whole life to earn and save. Now you need a plan to make that money work hard for you.
Where do you stand today with your retirement accounts, with your insurance, with Social Security, RMDs, taxes, all of it? This is how we need to think. We need to think outside of the box on these matters.
Abe is here to help you unlock the keys to your retirement.
Abe, my friend, have you been the ongoing conversation we're going to continue about as you prepare for your mountain climb in the next few weeks? And I'm wondering how you're dealing with the heat. Are you getting outside and doing hours of hiking and walking to prepare?
I was going to say, it has been hot. But you got to prepare, you got to plan. And so I'm climbing this mountain in about a month, the equivalent of Mount Everest. And this past weekend, I went out to Harper's Ferry, and it's a decent little hike. It's actually pretty tough, especially when you're hiking it in 100-degree heat. And I was just drenched in sweat, but I'm doing everything I can to be prepared for this climb. So again, I'm excited about it, and I'm nervous about it at the same time.
Right. It's obviously a normal feeling when you're preparing for something that it's the unknown. I think that creates those emotions, right?
Yep. Climbing a physical mountain, but much like our clients climbing their own retirement mountain.
Yeah.
You know, you've got the ascent and the descent, and most people have the ascent taken care of. Most people have the amount of money they've saved taken care of. Where our clients need the most help, where, the listeners of WMAL need the most help, those of you that are getting close to retiring and in retirement, is with the descent. You might have $1 million, $2, $3 million saved, $500,000 saved, but you need help with the descent and all of the risks that can mess up a fantastic accumulation plan as you descend down into your own retirement.
That's exactly the point, those idea of those risks, though. And as I was saying, a lot of times when you're getting ready to do something you've never done before that will be challenging, it's that fear that comes from the unknown. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what will happen, and I don't know what we'll be able to do if we do run into a bump in the road. But that is the point of having somebody like Abe Abish and his team at Abish Financial Services in your life to help you create the plan, one that factors in things like, for a perfect example, the situations we're currently finding ourselves in for the first time in many decades, dealing with uncertainty in the market. I mean, after an incredible market run for the last 10 years, dealing with inflation, something that we haven't dealt with. I mean, a lot of people that are well into their working years, into their 40s, weren't even alive the last time inflation was at levels like it is right now, Abe. But as you seek help and understanding, when you're listening to the financial talking heads, it's hard to figure out if we're at the beginning, the middle, or the end of all of this.
Credit card usage skyrocketing and at record highs, savings rates plunging, over $30 trillion of global wealth has evaporated.
We're only about a quarter of the way down in this economic slowdown domestically and internationally.
Look, I've been very vocal about this. I'm very rarely this bearish, but this setup is one of the worst I've seen in my career.
Consensus seems to believe right now that there's less than a 50% chance of a recession.
We don't think leading indicators of the economy are going to bottom out until late next year.
It's 100% certainty that you're in recession now.
And that is exactly case in point of the situation that I am talking about, Abe.
Right.
All of this is not only confusing, but scary. Should any of it have a bearing on how we plan for our retirement? Or, I have to imagine the answer is yes to that. But what do we do then? How do we consider? What do we factor in and also be able to simultaneously turn off the extra noise we shouldn't be focusing on?
You got to do exactly that, Heather. You got to turn off the talking heads, because that's when it gets confusing and scary. Look, you just heard 10 different people give 10 different opinions on whether we're in a recession, going to be in a recession, not going to be in a recession. There is so much we can't control. We talk about this on the show almost every week, Heather. There are so many things that are uncertain in the world right now, but your financial future and your retirement does not have to be one of them. And yes, everyone is down in their retirement accounts 10, 15, 20% year to date here in 2022. However, You don't want to be paralyzed by fear and feel like you can't make change, feel like you can't redirect course, feel like you can't be proactive, because you absolutely can. And now's a fantastic time to do so if you have not already done so in 2022. And you can let the markets and the government continue to be in charge of your retirement, or you can take control, Heather, and anyone listening right now can take control. And that's what we really encourage everybody to do, is to be proactive, create a plan, because good times and bad times will always happen. Right now, we're in very uncertain and volatile times, and a lot of news coming out this week with the Federal Reserve increasing rates and the economy and inflation, as we just talked about, a lot of things coming out. And then we have elections this fall, right? So, but we got to be prepared for whatever direction this market goes, because it goes up and down and will continue to go up and down the rest of our lives. Right. Well, we just had a couple call into the show, Heather. They're 55 to 60 years old. They are 7 on our risk scale because they're a little bit younger, retiring in about 5 to 7 years. And they have about $1 million saved. And they're in the Manassas, Gainesville, Warrenton area of Virginia, about 30 to 40 minutes from our office. Their main problem, which is a problem most people have that come to meet with us, is they had no plan. The only plan that they had was a collection of accounts, investment accounts, which is typical, right? You know, the majority of our industry, Heather, focuses on accumulation and investments and rate of return and what you're earning on your investments, and all of that's important. But at the end of the day, Heather, it's not about what you earn, it's what you keep.
That's right.
And you need a plan. And if you just have a TSP or 401k or IRA or a collection of all those accounts, that's not a plan. It might be a growth plan, it might be an investment plan, but that's where the buck stops. And most people realize that as they enter into what we call the retirement red zone. And for those of you listening, the retirement red zone is pretty much the period of time 5 years before you retire and 5 years into retirement. Consider it that 10 yards away from scoring a touchdown, right? And if we're playing football and we're 10 yards away from scoring and winning the game, the last thing we want is to fumble, to throw an interception, to turn it over to the other team as we're ready to win the game and score that touchdown. So they realized all they had was the investments. They are working and have been working with another advisor for the last 10 years. And they like this guy and they have a good relationship with him. And he's helped them to grow their portfolio up to almost $1 million. But they are making a change and they're moving over to Abish Financial. And the reason why is because they realize with 5 years or less away until they retire, just having $1 million and just having a collection of investment accounts simply isn't good enough. They had tons of questions, Heather. When do we take Social Security? How are taxes going to play an impact in our retirement? Because most of their accounts, like most people, are in pre-taxed accounts. Their IRAs and 401ks, and most of their dollars, in other words, were saved on a pre-tax basis and never been taxed. They were concerned with taxes going up in the future and how that would affect them. They were taking on too much risk. So what was the solution for them? A comprehensive plan for their retirement red zone. A recession-proof retirement plan, right? We want a plan that's going to get us through the good times and bad. They needed help with distribution. They needed a path forward. They needed some clarity on when they get to retirement, how much money are they going to need on top of Social Security? Where are these dollars going to come from? Like, which accounts are they going to tap first? What percentage of their portfolios are they going to take out every year? Needed ways to reduce risk, needed tax guidance, wanted a recession-proof retirement. So for those of you listening right now, if you are concerned with a lot of these things we're talking about, high inflation, the potential for taxes going up, a volatile stock market, and how any and more of these things can affect and impact your retirement, we want to offer you that same analysis that we offered to this couple, a recession analysis. We want to help you recession-proof your retirement. So if you are 55 years old or older and you have saved $500,000 or more for your retirement, we'd like to offer you that same complimentary second opinion. Just go to retirementkeyradio.com, click on the Contact Us tab at the top of the page, and we'll begin the same discussion with you as well.
So, Abe, you were just bringing up the idea, this notion of the tax concerns that one couple has, and it's something that a lot of people have. We're obviously a ways off from next April's tax deadline. However, something that you do constantly bring up here on the program is the importance of having a tax strategy within our planet. It's what you have to have in order to have a great retirement plan overall. So we're now more than half of the year into 2022. Are there any moves that retirees or pre-retirees can be making now to perhaps better position themselves for next year's tax bill and then thinking about the years ahead.
Absolutely, Heather. Look, you can worry about higher taxes down the road or simply take action and create a tax-efficient retirement strategy now. And we've talked about this on the show many times. Look, our country's in $30 trillion of national debt. We can just sweep that under the rug, treat it like it's a different number. Or you can act now if you firmly believe that taxes are going up in the future. Don't sweep it under the rug. Have a proactive tax plan. Many advisor firms out there say they will help their clients with tax planning. They get you in the door, they manage your money, and they say, just go to your CPA or accountant. We don't deal with taxes here. Well, guess what? We do deal with taxes here, and taxes are probably going to be our biggest expense in retirement. So we have to address them head on and find any way possible that we can mitigate and lower tax. So between now and the end of the year, Heather, a few things that we can do is plan out your RMDs, pad your nest egg, consider a Roth conversion. So we just had a couple in just recently, and we found out that we can do about a $50,000 conversion, a Roth conversion, purposely transitioning and shifting those dollars from a traditional IRA to a Roth by the end of this year. And then over the next 4 years, converting $200,000 of his pre-tax monies to a Roth. That's something that their current advisor didn't even talk to them about, right? Yeah, you're not going to talk about taxes if you're just talking about rate of return and how you're doing in the market compared to the S&P 500. You might want to consider giving to charity. You might want to consider making some gifts to family or friends. Check your withholdings as well. Make sure that, your estimated payments are on track and that you're not going to owe a lot of money come next April. So just some tips in terms of taxes between now and the end of the year. We had a couple come in recently. They have $2 million. They live in Vienna. They're a 6 on our risk scale. They're in their 60s and retiring in 2023. And they were concerned, Heather, because almost all $2 million that they've saved, just like most Americans, are in pre-taxed accounts. Yeah. Now, why do most Americans have all of their money or most of their money in pre-taxed accounts? Well, like myself, even when I got into this business, I was told, and it was a myth, that when I retire, I'm going to be in a lower tax bracket. And at the water cooler, as you were starting your 401k years ago, you were told the same thing. Yeah. Max out your 401k, Heather, because when you retire, you're going to be in a lower tax bracket. And that's one of the biggest myths, I personally believe, of financial and retirement planning. And a lot of our clients are not in a lower tax bracket. And why would you ever be working so hard to just settle for a lower financial life and a lower way of life in retirement, right? You don't want that. So for some people, they will be in a lower tax bracket when they retire. For a lot of people, they won't. And this couple was concerned about a potential ticking tax time bomb on the $2 million in their 401ks and TSPs. And what did we do? We implemented a tax plan for them. What does that tax plan include? Tax mapping reports and analysis. We discovered again that we could convert about $50,000 a year of their pre-tax dollars into Roths. We figured out that they're in the bottom of the 24% bracket, and they had a lot of room in the bracket to stay in that bracket and do some strategic tax planning. Got it. So for any of those of you listening right now, if you sound like this couple, you feel like you've done a good job saving for retirement, but you're not yet addressing taxes, and you believe taxes are going to go up in the future, we've got to address this right now before the tax code changes. And we have 4 years to do so unless taxes change sooner. So we'd like to offer you that same tax mapping report and analysis. Taxes are probably going to be our biggest expense in retirement. Allow us to help you lower and mitigate tax as much as possible.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abish. To learn more about Abish Financial Services, visit retirementkeyradio.com. And join Abe for his radio show, The Retirement Key, Saturdays and Sundays at 2 p.m. on WMAL.
Investment advisory services offered through Abish Financial Wealth Management, LLC, number 310633, a registered investment advisor firm. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Abraham Abish is licensed in your state, please call 571-577-9968. Abish Financial Services is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Abraham Abish Inc., Virginia license number 131017.